My name is Christine, and I'm glad you're watching this. So, today I want to share about the book of Daniel. I want to share with you about Daniel, and I also want to share with you about Job. Now, before I start all that, one thing I'm going to start doing on this videos is getting very real with you, so that you're not like, she's just speaking, she's not, has she really been through it? So yes, I've been through it. I'm still going through it, and so yeah, but I find hope and courage in the Lord, and I hope to encourage you as well. In my personal life, like I shared in the previous video, I was going through it like just a few moments ago. I was just getting ready. I'm in my room, I'm about to head to a meeting, but I really want to do this video before I leave. I had my daughter being shouted at and being screamed at, and the natural maternal instinct is to jump in and to stop it from happening and to tell the person, please don't shout or scream at my child. However, I have done that previously, and I was threatened because if you haven't watched my YouTube videos, anyway, let me just give you a summary. So, I've been a bit financially down, and I know it's for a season. It's because I'm starting something new, and I'm just waiting on God. And the instructions He gives me, I do them and I get it done. So, and I'm seeing His faithfulness, like it's just trickling in, and who knows, maybe it will be a bust. But because of that, I'm not living where I would sustain myself and where I would be able to protect my child. So I was letting you know. I stepped in. So the turnaround or the backlash I got was, I'm teaching my child to be disrespectful, and I'm acting like there's any say I have here. I'm being hosted, and they will do with my daughter whatever they seem to be fit according to their own standards. So in as much as it pains me and I want to cry, I want to stop it. I'm stuck. Yeah? Because when someone threatens you and and tells you, we're going to do to your daughter whatever we see best. Even the decisions I've made for her, they've overturned them. And, basically made my role irrelevant. But leaving all that aside, yeah, so that's what's happening in my life. So if you think I'm not going through it, super going through it. So the last couple of days, the Lord was having me fast, and so one of the times I was fasting, and I found my Bible open, and so I wanted to share this word with you. When you're going through something, I want you to remember the story of Job. Like, Job went through stuff, He lost everything he owned, then he lost his children, and it was tough, When we read the book of Job, I don't know, because we know the outcome, it may not have a big impact on us. But if you read it like with the understanding, like chapter 1 is all I know. Yeah. And then with the awareness that, Job is not in the conversation between God and Satan. And so when God is showing out showing out about Job to Satan, Job is not in that conversation. And so when Satan replies, it's because he has the stuff. If we take away his stuff, he'll definitely not follow you. And he took all his stuff. He took all his children. Then the second time, Satan even says it's because of his flesh, like he's healthy. Like, why would he deny you if he's still so healthy? And then he got leprosy. And then now we read chapter by chapter to about chapter 37 there is when God starts responding to him. Like, you've asked me questions and here are my answers. And even as we read that, God is giving him like an insight on who he is. Yeah. So he's giving him the insight, chapter 38 and so on. And up to chapter 42, where now Job says, now I know you. Yeah. If you read that with context, yes, Job has known him, but nothing of his has come back. Do you know that? Like, it comes towards the end of the chapter is when God tells his friends, you guys need to go pay back, Job, and let him pray for you, because you guys were acting like against my will. And if you don't want judgment falling on you, don't my judgment falling on you, that's God telling them, then you better go and ask Job to pray for you. And then Job is restored. He has double the portion. He has children and the most beautiful daughters in that side of the land. And you see, that is just a story of Job's restoration. And when he was going through it, he didn't see why. So even me, as I'm going through it, sometimes I don't see why. But more and more, I come to know who God is, because let me share with you my own story. For me, it had gotten to pride and arrogance because of the blessing of the Lord. Which year was that? Let's just say it was an upward year from 2021, 2022, 2023. So the upward trajectory, it got to a point where I thought everything I have is because I've done it. Yeah, it's because of me. Yeah, like recognize I have the skills, I have the everything. And God had to humble me and show me, no, everything you have is because of me and because I'm faithful. And so now, even as I'm going through what I've described to you and so much more, God, gets me to a point where sometimes I go to cry to him like, God, you're not. And he's just like, you don't even finish that. You know better. And so you're not going to, don't even finish your statement. You know better. Okay. Okay, you're right. I've stopped. I'm not even going to look at it again. Then there are times he'll just encourage me with a verse. There's a time I was listening to one of you guys who posts, and then it was a lady. And as she was even speaking, she's talking about my birthday. She's talking about the dates that I hold dear to my heart. And really, it was a message for me. So God uses different ways to reach me, and he uses different ways to reach you. The word of God, other people, and even dreams and visions and so on. But one thing I would caution you is running around to seek him elsewhere. Like, I would advise you, read the whole Bible for yourself. Now, let's come back to, I was fasting. Then I found my Bible open, I was so woozy. I didn't even think are these extra chapters or what? Is my old Bible. but it's the Knox version. It's called okay, it's spelled KNOXX, Knox version. Yeah. And what I've discovered is some books have extra chapters, meaning, wait, my regular Bible isn't here. They don't have those chapters. So again, I was reading Daniel 13, and then I read Daniel 14, and Daniel had 13 had me some type of way, because it's talking about this lady. She's married, she's beautiful, she's doing, she's minding her own business, just being beautiful, enjoying her garden. She's married, all of that. Then some men start lasting after her. So as they're lasting after her, they decide to have their way with her and get her to some point. They threaten her. They're going to rape her and all that. And, for her, she screams. Then they say, because they're elders, when they're called, they're going to say she had a lover. So she's like, whatever, she's taking that route. Like, if they want to lie on her, fine. So they gather people around, and then witnesses come up, all that. Then these men give their false testimony. Hear what this woman says. I should have marked it with a pen. Whereupon Susanna cried aloud, Eternal God, no secret is hidden from thee. Nothing comes to pass without thy foreknowledge. Thou knowest that these men have borne false witness against me. Wilt thou let me die, a woman innocent of all the charges their malice has invented? And the Lord listened to her plea, even as she was being led off to her death. All at once he roused to utterance the Holy Spirit that dwelt in a young boy there called Daniel. And as we read on in the story, Daniel exercises wisdom, and he's like, okay, you know what? He's not in agreement with them putting Susanna to death. And he calls these two men who wanted to have their way with her, separately. And then he asks them, okay, under which tree did you see her with her lover? Of course, they both mention different trees, and that is how she is vindicated. And I'm telling you today, the Lord is going to vindicate you. Like, the trials right now may not even make sense. Like, I'm just wondering, like, Lord, I want to act. And sometimes when we want to act, we want to take that physical action, God, we're going contrary to God, because sometimes what God says in his word is vengeance is mine. And so sometimes when we want to take vengeance in our own hands, we're actually trying to admit, God, we don't believe you're going to take vengeance, so we got to do this. So no, we can believe in the living God to change the circumstances, the environment, and the hearts and minds of the people around us, to the point where they will be repenting for those sins that they carried out when they thought they could come against you. So, the other verse I wanted to share with you, so this is going to be a long video, sorry about that, is Daniel 14. Do you know, like, when you think about Daniel, what story comes to mind? How he was thrown into the den of lions, right? And, chapter 14, he gets thrown into a den again. Can you believe it? And he gets thrown into a den again of lions, this time for 7 days. But they do not eat him. And if anything, there's this prophet, Habakkuk. The angel of the Lord goes to Habakkuk. Habakkuk is not in Babylon, right? He goes to Habakkuk and tells him, you need to prepare food and for my servant, Daniel. hello, I'm not in Babylon. How does that work? The angel carries him off, takes him to that den. He gives Daniel the food, then the angel carries him back. So, when in the New Testament we read about Philip being carried by the Lord to meet the Ethiopian, it is not the first instance for God to carry someone even in the air and to take them where He wants them to be. So, there's so many nuggets in this video. I hope you're getting it. If you are in the thick of it, as I am, you can trust in the Lord. You can trust in the Lord. Like literally, if it gets so bad, he'll pick you up and fly with you, or He will change those around you. Because here's what happened when Daniel, got out of that pit. And at that, the king cried aloud, "How great thou art, O Lord, thou who art Daniel's God." Huh? He will bring praise and glory to himself from those heathens. Okay, not heathens, what can we call them? Even people who've never heard of God. They will have to bow down and kneel and acknowledge, Jesus, you're the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And with that, I pray you have a blessed, blessed weekend. I gotta get to my meeting. So if you can, you don't need to go buy such an old Bible. Just download Knox Bible. You should get it online. If you don't have a Bible, by the way, download any version that you will understand and just start reading from Genesis to Revelation. And that way, your walk with God will be super. I promise you that. I promise you that. So I'll see you on the next one.